Okay. So I don't know if I told you. Well, you probably saw this. I finally set up my new monitor that I got for Black Friday, and it is amazing because not only is the resolution better, but I can put both laptops on the same screen and it's lovely. The only downside, and maybe I'll say this for my pick and plug at the end, but is trying to get my mouse, my magic mouse, and my magic trackpad to work with both devices. And it seems like the best thing to do, and everybody's just like, just do this, is the universal control, whatever that you get with Apple. But you have
Mm.
to log into your Apple account on both devices. And I have refrained from doing that on my work machine because I'm like, I don't want, I don't know that this would happen, but I'm like, I don't want there to be a situation where I accidentally get locked out of that account or all that information gets slurped up. So I've just been very careful. But there is an app called Desk Flow, which is a good stopgap for now, but basically it allows you to set up one computer, so I have my personal computer as a server, and then one is the client, and then it kind of gives you the same feeling. But it's so
Hmm.
nice when you just drag your mouse across and it
Yes.
stays. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
So
because I guess normally monitors act as like a KVM, where if you have multiple inputs, it will go between them. But given that this is like one monitor that's displaying both computers at the same time,
yeah,
it's not exactly the same. So this has like a logical division right in the middle
yeah,
that you can
yeah.
configure.
And you can like
Nice.
even configure the different spaces. I think I can have multiple things.
Multiple.
It's really
Mhm.
set up as a gaming monitor. So if you wanted to have like watch TV while you're playing a game, you can
Yeah.
pull that up. There is some of it that I'm like, oh my goodness, this monitor is too smart because it's like as soon as you turn it on, like I have a little remote, you have to like change it. It's like wants to show me YouTube and like all the
Oh,
streaming
no.
stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm not using it as a TV right now. I'm trying to get my inputs right. Um, but actually, that's a good point. I need to try because what you can do is you can try and hook your keyboard and your mouse up to the monitor instead of the laptop. So I need to try that and see if that's
Right.
better than the current setup because I
Yeah.
have my speaker like that, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Then I don't have to worry about going back and forth. But this is also interesting. So my AirPods, I was like, I want a quick, like, just let me hit a keyboard combination or Raycast or something to be able to switch my AirPods in between whichever laptop. And so you can you can brew install an app called Blue Util. And what you do is you go in and you figure out the name of that, whatever device it is. So in this case, my AirPods. And then you can just run a command that's like connect or disconnect. It is lovely. And you can even do like a toggle. So you don't even have to have multiple scripts for all of this. And then you can also have a script in there, which I think is using a different brew package, but to be able to say, okay, use this device. So I don't even have to go into my Bluetooth sound settings. Now, the tricky part though, is I tried to do something similar with my keyboard and my mouse because that's using Bluetooth too, right? So I was just like, let me just set this up. But apparently the AirPods are using like a Bluetooth 2 or like some newer version of Bluetooth that make it easy. And the problem that I've had with the keyboard and the trackpad is that I will disconnect with one laptop and try and connect to the other laptop, and it'll look like it connected, and then it's like the first laptop will grab it back and say, "No, you don't. You're mine." And so I even try to set in like a timeout to say like even turn off my Bluetooth for 2 seconds so that it can grab it, but it's still is just I can't get that piece of it to work just the way I want it to.
For me, I always thought that just like because Apple does a good job of just like moving with you, whatever device you're
Hmm.
interacting with. I would have thought literally just going to the other laptop and then playing some kind of audio or something would have just moved the headphones over. Is that not working?
The not my headphones, but if my kids want to play on the iPad in the other room, it's not like they'll jump over. But I think the mouse and the keyboard would have done that if you had enabled that universal control, which I haven't done yet. So I don't know. I could
Man, yeah,
maybe,
universal control is a good idea.
yeah. Do you try and Like, how do you manage your laptops? Because I know you have one for personal and work too.
Yeah, I like my 2 monitor setup, and so I basically just have 1 cable coming out of the monitors that goes to 1 laptop. And so
Okay.
when it's time to switch laptops, I just pull it out of one and stick it into the other.
Okay.
I don't try to run them both at the same time.
Yeah. So this is the other thing that I did was at first I was like, okay, how do I get a switcher so that it'll work with my Cal Digit? And I finally just decided I'm just going to get another Cal Digit. Then it's not a problem. And then I only have one cable. So I did find I was so proud of myself. Instead of getting a brand new Cal Digit, which they're up to 5 now, and it's like
Wow.
$400. I found a used one on eBay. It's a version 3, which I have a version 3. So I'm like, I'm totally
You
happy
know
with
it's good.
version
Yeah,
3. Yes. And it was like $77. And I felt like just so proud of myself for,
that's awesome.
for getting that second Cal Digit. So yeah, Ryan was giving me a hard time. He's like, that's a big flex having 2 Cal
Yeah.
Digits. I'm like, I only paid $77 for one.
I've been on that same train though, but, like, when it comes to fixing things around the house, if something
Mm,
breaks, I'm, like, right now doing everything in my power to, like, fix it myself, and not just, like, replace the whole piece, but, like, find the actual part that's broken and try to
mm.
find that part, and I did it with, like, a clip on our Dyson vacuum, I did it with a heating element in our dryer, um,
It's
I'm thinking
amazing.
about yeah, and so, like, if you do that, it takes the repair cost from, like, hundreds or even thousands
Yeah.
down to, like, $30. It's
Now you
it feels
just need
so
a
good.
3D printer.
I could have 3D printed some of that stuff, yes. Yeah.
Oh man, for the chat, we have an ongoing joke about the 3D printers. Brad wants to buy one, but it's holding out.
I finally have that list that I'm keeping track of, like, all the
Hmm.
things I want to 3D print, so
Okay, so
I think
how many things have to be on that list for you to say, okay, it's enough, it's
I've got
justified?
I've only got, like, 3 things on it right now, and this is trying to be not things that, like, are just like, "Oh, that would be fun," but, like, more practical things, right?
Mm,
So if I can get to, like, maybe 10 practical things and, like,
okay,
and then, like, a bunch of, like, just whatever impractical, fun, projecty
yeah,
things, like, so maybe, like, a total of 20, I think I'm gonna go for it
okay.
then.
Did you see that like drawer organizer where it's like a whole grid system? Like that should count for 10, right?
It should and it's funny, I'm like, I love it, and Gabby's like, "I don't like the way 3D printed stuff looks because it
Oh,
looks layered," and I'm just like, "You
oh,
could change the
sure.
settings. It's in a drawer. Who
Yeah.
cares?" Yeah.
It's in a drawer.
Yeah.
That's so funny. You should tell her, I can print you clothes hangers. Anytime you need a clothes hanger, I'll
Yes.
just print you one.
Yes, that is true.
I've seen those. Those look so dinky, but some of it's because you can like collapse them down and travel with them, which is kind
Yeah.
of cool. Uh,
Hey, before we start, you
yeah.
sound a little thin. Double check your
Oh,
mic.
it's probably related to this. What what should I do? What do you
Which
need more of?
well, I don't it just feels like it might not be actually
Mm,
coming through the mic.
like
I don't know.
loud? Oh, let me check. It might
Not
not be.
loud, but just like it sounds like I'm getting a little bit more room audio.
Hmm, might be. Oh, you are. You know what? You're getting my AirPods.
Ah, there you go.
This is gonna sound
Hey,
amazing.
they sound pretty dang good.
There we go. Do I sound amazing now?
You sound great now. You're a little soft, but you sound amazing.
Okay, I can turn myself up. And I think I can even do that in the oh yeah, mic volume. You can do this within will it let me? Echo cancellation, reduce mic. I don't want to do that. I have my AirPods in. Automatically adjust mic volume. I'm gonna turn that off and let's see what this does. That's within StreamYard. Does
Ooh,
that sound good or bad? Should I
it sounds about the same. Sounds good.
okay.
Yeah, I try not to do any like software audio stuff in those
Yeah, it just
applications. I want it
distorts
all
it.
going through my
I'm
Wavelink
just
audio system.
nervous about doing it on my board. Because I can turn up the gain, but sometimes
No, don't worry about
that's
it. You're solid.
thanks for catching that.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me get this queued up. Okay. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Compressed FM, a podcast about web design and development with a little bit of zest. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about whether AI is getting better or just more restrictive.
Web development and design, who would have guessed? Well, we can do them both, even add a little zest. So turn up the volume, get ready for the best. Let's get it started in this episode of Compressed.
Hello, my name is Amy Dutton, and I am a senior design engineer at Cloudflare.
Hey, y'all. My name is Brad Garapi, and I'm a senior front-end developer at Cloudflare.
Woohoo. And we can say this now.
We should say this,
public. Our good friend James is also at Cloudflare now. So he's on the developer advocacy team. So
it feels like one big family reunion at this company at this point. I know so many people who work here now, and it's been awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I'm actually going to like a meetup thing tonight.
Oh, are you? See, this is the reason. I'm like, Austin.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Craig Dennis is doing a vibe coding pop-up.
How fun. So Craig Dennis, you should go check out his content. He just released this week a new video on dynamic workers, which is a newer-ish Cloudflare product. That's pretty cool. It really enhances your ability with workers, and you can run AI in it. And I will include a link in the show notes to his video.
Speaking about good videos that got put out, Aaron Francis dropped a free tutorial series on durable objects, which I was not expecting.
Yes. I haven't watched it yet. Have you seen it?
Me neither. It's on like my to-watch playlist.
Okay. Yeah, I need to watch that too. Okay, I'm going to have to look later for this link unless you have it on hand.
Not yet.
Okay. I will find it later. I will share it. But yeah, it's cool just to see strides the company's making. We released M-Dash last week, which is last week. It's kind of interesting. It's like WordPress, but with JavaScript. And because of the way that Cloudflare's products are structured, you don't have the same security concerns that you have in WordPress, which is pretty cool for anybody that's been in the WordPress ecosystem. I know I've tried to unhack a few WordPress sites in my day, and it was not fun.
Yeah, that one came out of left field, if you ask me. I was not expecting that. And because we launched on April 1st, I literally thought it was an April Fool's joke. We were pretty clear in the company that like Cloudflare doesn't do April Fool's jokes. We're a serious business.
That's right. But it's just funny. It's like for everybody else. It's like, what?
It did kind of feel like it.
It's a joke. Yeah. I'm trying to pull up your notes. Okay. So if we start kind of with what we plan to talk about, is AI getting better or more restrictive? It's been interesting to just follow the AI news within the last couple of weeks. So Anthropic came out and said that they were going to lock down their API, and that if you were using it for third-party services like OpenClaw, that everything would be disabled. I'm not sure if they disabled your account. They may have. I heard that some accounts were getting locked down, but they were even setting up things where if you tried to modify your system prompt and even had any mention whatsoever, whether you were using OpenClaw or not, if you referenced OpenClaw, then like that request would get denied. There'd be like a 401. I can't do anything to help you. So Theo released a video, and he was just complaining, as Theo does.
As he does.
About he had an issue with Dropbox. He had installed it via Brew, and he had asked Anthropic within like Claude Code, hey, Dropbox isn't working. Will you help me kind of untangle the mess? And the response he got back from Anthropic or Claude Code was, hey, that's a question for Dropbox support. I can't help you. And he was like, are you kidding me? Like, I just want the answer. So then, of course, he goes over to OpenAI with Codex and asks, hey, will you help me with this? And of course, it gave him the commands that he wanted to be able to fix Dropbox on his computer. So he was just saying like, hey, is AI getting better? Not really. Like now we're starting to restrict things and lock everything down, and kind of complaining. My 2 cents on that is it's a company. like there's a sense of entitlement there of like, hey, we've been able to do these things. Why can't we keep doing these things? But they also have to be able to make money. And I think it's also kind of interesting. I don't know if you've seen the reports on their income recently, but I believe Anthropic has surpassed OpenAI, and the amount of growth that they've had within the last 2 months is absolutely ridiculous. So I'm not sure if that's related to just some of the political things that OpenAI has gotten themselves into or what, but it's just kind of interesting, the whole climate around AI and how things are changing.
I think them locking things down is going to be very good for the average consumer. Like what I see coming out of Anthropic is really geared. Like there's a lot of good dev tools, don't get me wrong, but developers are going to ultimately and other companies are going to ultimately go towards things that are more open, like open code, so that they can bring their own models and their own subscriptions or whatever. But I think what Anthropic is doing with Claude and all like the ways they're kind of tailoring the use cases of it is gonna put it in the hands of regular people.
Yeah.
Like Claude Co-work and things like that. I think people
Yeah.
are gonna love. Um, Whereas like us developers are trying to like build all of our own stuff, and it's just gonna become like prohibitively expensive at some point
Mhm.
using Anthropic's models, which is a shame because I've still been like really liking Opus 4.6.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I have no idea what will happen. So there's the numbers that I've heard is that if you have the $200 subscription, which I do not, then you're actually getting $5,000 worth of credits every single month, which is mind blowing. And so that's always been the question that I have is if all this, the tokens and usage is, say, VC subsidized, what happens when that gets taken away? I know there's some arguments to say, like, you can have accounts like people that are paying $200 a month help offset the people that are free or paying. I guess with Anthropic, you're paying $20 a month because I don't think they have a free plan. But, or you can say models will continue to get cheaper. Who knows? Like, I'm curious what will happen, just the growth plan on that.
Yeah, I have a feeling like with all other technology, models will ultimately get cheaper, or like we will figure out how to make it more token efficient, right? To
Yeah.
ultimately drive the cost down. This is just like a demand thing right now. Like everybody's going nuts for it. So I think they can kind of put a premium on it. Um, I think that that will like even out in the long run. I don't think AI will be something that like somehow gets priced out of existence, you know? This is now like a necessity everywhere, so people will have to build this into the budgets and
Yeah.
planning and like that.
Yeah, well, kind of in that same vein, did you see Google released, I think it's called Turbo Quant, where it's a new way of compressing all of this stuff with
Mm.
AI. So you can send more. It also reduces the token costs, all that. But it's a new way. I don't understand all the science behind it, but I will include a link.
Can I just say I've been feeling this way over the past like maybe 2 months. We are in a new technological revolution, and it's not just AI. If you like take a step back, I don't think we've advanced this far this fast in the past like 20 years. We've got
Uh,
self-driving cars are really starting to come to the
Yep.
forefront. NASA is doing space missions again. We just went around the other side of the moon. The
Yeah.
pictures are incredible. I've been looking at them. Obviously, AI is going crazy, and I had one more example, and now I can't remember what it is. Um, I don't know, but like, I'll put all those things together, and it's like we are crushing it right now. It just
Mhm.
feels like such a cool time to be alive.
Yes. Well, and I've even seen things. I was trying to Google it to see if AI or Google themselves could help me break this down. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Yeah. Just the changes and key advancements over the last 100 years are crazy. And if you look at like 100 years ago, like, was that cars were just starting to be a thing?
That's
Which is
great.
insane to think about. Like, my grandmother passed away a few years ago and she was 102. And so to think like what she saw in her lifetime,
Yep.
like this would have counted horse and buggies. Like that was the
It's like
thing.
it's like cars, airplanes, and the internet, I guess, was her, like it's like
Crazy.
connecting people.
Yeah. Just
But
crazy.
this
And the
is, like,
amount that
making
people are
us
traveling.
smarter and faster. Now
Well,
we're in this era where, like, we can just do more so much. Oh, quantum computing was the last thing I was gonna say.
oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we're starting to make breakthroughs there, which will, like, completely change our ability to, like, run mathematical models and do DNA stuff and research and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, well, like production, where you're talking about
Oh, yeah.
assembly lines, like that, like that's what we were talking about 100 years ago. But
Yeah.
so I just Googled this to help me with the list, and the breakdown is the 1920s to the 1960s. That's a 40-year span that it's
Mhm,
kind of grouped these things. But then as
mhm.
you go on, those spans get smaller and smaller because then you
Oh,
start
really?
to the 70s that you're talking about your personal computing,
Mhm.
get this, your portable Walkman, just early internet stuff. And then you start to get into the 1990s. Everything's mobile. We had cell phones. So
Right.
crazy. We sound like such old fogies. But it is like, what a great time to be alive. And I try and remember that anytime I get scared, like what is going to happen in the future. But it's also like, how cool is this?
Yeah. You can't come into these things with doom and gloom because it is an
Yes.
exciting time, and we are in the middle of this revolution at
Yeah.
like, in our careers, we're not like, I don't know, some other sector of business that, like, is affected less or something, like, we get to ride this wave and help build it.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and I think that's the other difference too, is it is affecting everybody all at the same time. And
Yeah.
everybody's trying to figure it out.
Yeah. And you can feel that. You can so
Yeah.
feel that. There's been so much push and pull. Okay, maybe we should get into this topic. So AI is changing the bottleneck, right?
Mhm.
Uh,
Mhm.
it used to be writing code, but now writing code is like the easy part. And so the beginning and the end are the hard parts, which is coming up with what you should actually build,
Yep.
the product part, and then like verification, like making sure everything that it puts out is accurate. And what's even weirder is that as those shift, because writing code is easier, now you see the people from like the beginning part, like the product managers, submitting PRs. Like the other day, I was helping two PMs understand what Git was and like how to make commits and merge requests. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, this is scary. Like I'm handing you a really sharp knife and I understand you're getting things done, but like you got to know what this stuff means in order to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
And so now, like, PMs are doing a little more coding or a little more prototyping. Like, engineers might be doing a little more designing. Uh, but like, everybody needs to think about the validation process. Are we building the right thing?
Yep.
And does it work in a maintainable way? And so, watching those lines blur and, you know, like where all the time is spent change is really interesting. And I feel like that is the palpable thing that you can feel at every company is like, what do we do with our people now that certain
Mhm.
steps of our process are easier?
So how I kind of know because we have we have conversations, but how have you seen your workflow change? Like how you approach
So
those problems?
I feel like my job is now, and hopefully, like, I don't know if this is unique to me or all engineers, but like, I think my job is to enable more people to build more effectively with AI.
Mm.
I think that's how I can
Mhm.
scale my career and like have more impact. Um, I don't have to be like some kind of leading AI expert. I don't have to necessarily know everything about the models and all this stuff. But I think what you do need to do is start building like an end-to-end kind of workflow where even if this person is some product manager and they're just trying to get in a little change, it's easy for them to be like, well, this is what I want to do. Walk me through the whole process.
Mhm.
So I'm building, these agent workflows that will like help you make your branch and like
Mhm.
work with you on a plan and then help you build it. And then when you're done, like write the test and validate. And if anything was
Mhm.
learned in that process, contribute back to like the agent's files, things like
Yep.
that. And it all starts with like a single prompt and is very guided. And so I think stuff like this is going to make everybody more productive, technical
Mhm.
or non-technical, and it gives me, like, a way to scale my impact.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. I was thinking for me, it's been like if you kind of zoom in on that a little bit, it's like if I have an idea for something, a lot of times it's trying to get buy-in, but it's also like trying to communicate in a way to get buy-in on that. But that's shifted recently because it's like I can have an idea and then I can say, "Oh wait, I'll send you a proof of concept."
Right.
And the time to get there is minimal, which is just crazy. But then I
You
can
say
say like,
minimal and you mean like damn near instantaneous, you know? It's
well, I mean, it's still like I'm still spending time on things. I think the harder part is like depending on how much I want to refine it, how carefully I would. If it's a proof of concept, that doesn't matter. So, like to your point, you can just let it run on things.
right. Right.
But if it's trying to be on brand, it's still fast, but it does take a little bit of time. I think, but anyways, the point I'm trying to make is I can present you with a proof of concept to say, this is what I have in mind. So it's
Right.
no longer me trying to cast a vision to get buy-in. It's me saying, this is what I have in mind. And then you get more throwaway code though, because it's like we can choose to use it or not. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, there's a proof of concept that shows exactly what I have in mind. I think the hard part for me is, and I don't know how you feel about this, but there's a few projects on my plate right now where I'm working at the edge of my knowledge, which is a little uncomfortable, but it's like, what do you, well, fun and uncomfortable, but it's like, what's the balance there when you have AI writing code that you're like, I'm not sure if this, I don't know how to guide it. I don't know how this works. I can first try and one shot it and see if it gets it. If not, I can roll it back and I've got to do a little bit more research to be able to give it more guidance or like trying to figure out that weird path there. And I think that's also, if you've seen reports where people say, if you've used AI, you're not really learning anything because you don't necessarily know how it works or it doesn't stick the same way as it does if you're writing code.
Okay. I agree with the second half of that. It probably doesn't stick as well because you're not physically typing it out on the keys.
Yeah.
I do find a ton of value in like actually typing stuff out, which I no longer do anymore. That's probably not good. But I think like it's totally false to say like you're not learning anything because, for instance, when I did this whole Yodo application and I had
Mhm.
to learn about Cloudflare sandboxes and service and events, and I did these electronics projects with MQTT. Like, if I would hit this point, I would just be like, "Oh, I've never used this before. Show me the API. Like, oh, what does this do? Like, what is that all
Mhm.
about?" And like, if it ever produces anything that I don't understand, I'm in plan mode having a conversation with it to be like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, what is that and why?"
Mhm.
And
You
let
just
me
dig
think
it.
about that. And you dig into it, and like, so you're
Mhm.
learning by reading in a little bit more of an interactive way
Yeah.
where you can use it to fill in the gaps. And I found that I can get things done at the edge of my knowledge quickly. I
Mhm.
definitely probably don't gain like the depth of knowledge that I would have gotten had I had to do like a ton of research on my own and written it on
Sure.
my own. But I mean, your productivity is higher. You're learning kind of breadth first type of knowledge, and I mean, you can go deep if you need to.
Well, and this just kind of clicked into place as you were talking, but I think maybe part of the reason why you don't go as deep is if I'm Googling things, I'm having to sift and read through everything. And so I'm
Yeah,
learning things that I don't necessarily care about.
unrelated. Yeah.
Whereas, like, if I'm just asking AI, I can be very specific in what I'm asking and get the exact response back that I want. So it kind of changes the end result there, because you're getting something that's more specific to your use case.
Yep. But I do find, like, in the process of writing code, I have been taking my hands off the wheel a little bit more, especially for, like,
Literally
new
dictate.
projects. Yeah. To bring it back to the Tesla Full Self-Driving situation, yeah, I'm just, like I'm voice chatting. I just press one button on my mouse. I voice chat. It hits enter when I'm done, and, like, it goes back and forth, and that's it. And I'm
See,
reading all the
you
code.
really are just kicked back. Just
Yeah,
go
I'm
did
literally
you
yeah.
see did you see that guy that was, like, doing everything from his phone? He was, like, recording into his phone, and he was just, like somehow had, like, not monitor displays, but just, like, window outlines where he would, like, tap on the window that he wanted to focus on.
Ooh, cool.
So crazy.
That's cool. Yeah. It's been really nice, and we've been competing on our Whisperflow stats, which I'm like so bought into now.
Are you? I didn't
Yeah.
even use it yesterday.
I'm
Oh,
trying to use it
man.
more almost. Like now seeing how much faster I can speak than like when I type. I'm like adding words into my dictionary. It understands like
Yeah,
ox format and oxlint. It'll get those right now.
nice,
Um,
nice.
yeah, I'm really investing into
Well, the hard part is sometimes I'll hit the button and I'll kind of think and pause. And I think that's what's brought my word count down. So for
Yeah.
everybody right now, I will admit that Brad's words per minute are higher than mine. He's like at what 145, 146. And the latest one
155 now. I got it up. Yeah.
the latest count that I had it like dropped down to 120. I was like,
Mm.
but it's still faster than how I would how I'd
Yeah.
speak. Okay, so I just pulled it up. I'm at 140. So I did bounce up a little bit.
Nice. My
But I do
stats say
on applications, which I don't even know how it figured out that I've done this or spoken in 40 applications.
that's a lot. I mean, it says I spoke to 11 applications, which seems
I'm
weird.
at
Like I feel like I
52.
only use it in open code.
I'm at 52 applications. I don't even know how it figured out. I don't even feel like I use 52 on a weekly basis.
Now I'm still not paying for it, and after it tells me I hit my weekly word limit, I see no difference in like
What?
quality dropping or speed or anything. Like it
What?
works
That's crazy.
amazing either way.
You shouldn't have announced that.
I know. Whisperflow, your free plan's really good.
I am paying I think it's $14 a month.
Yeah.
But it is crazy. I mean, there's moments where I'm like, I've got to type all this out, and it's nice just to be able to hit record. So, which is interesting. I never would have said I was a dictation person, and it is quite better than Siri.
Oh, totally. Yeah, and it's faster too, because it runs it through like it not only transcribes, but then it runs it through an AI model right after you've done it to like smooth everything out.
Yeah. Well, because you can, if you start to say something wrong and you can go back and correct yourself, it'll take out your ums and your misspeaks. I don't know what the word is for that. But the other nice thing I found is if it does hit an error where it's like, oh, I can't, it's taking a little bit longer or I'm having trouble, you can go to the app and copy the transcription there. So I've had issues where if it didn't copy and paste into my text box, I can still recover that, which is also helpful.
Here's the beauty of it though, because I talk to open code mostly, even if what comes out of my mouth is jumbled, Whisperflow cleans it up a little bit. And even if that's a little jumbled, open code's going to get it. Like, you've got 2 or 3 layers, like just kind of figuring it out for you. So it doesn't even matter half the time.
Yeah. Which also, let me just go on the record as saying I love OpenCode's UI within their terminal. It is so pretty, especially compared to Claude.
The Chewy specifically?
Yes. Yes. It is so much nicer than Claude's. Claude's just like, there's everything.
Oh, really? Okay. I haven't touched
quite,
Claude.
but pretty much.
Have you used OpenCode's desktop app?
No.
Okay, I was trying to use it because it has better work tree support. So basically, you can have your projects listed on the side, kind of like your directories.
Yep.
And if you want to jump between them, you can just kind of click because the TUI doesn't really have that. There's something about it. It's just not as clean and as fast. Seems just a little more jumbled. And I found that, like, yes, even though it does support work trees, it doesn't support your whole dev stack. So like, sure, you can change the directory you're working in the UI. Then you got to like change your code editor to look at the code and change the running dev server. And it's kind of like we need a more cohesive solution, which is something I actually want to build during this AI hack week.
Okay, so
AI hack month.
Let me talk about the setup that I've been experimenting with. Okay, so first we can talk a little bit about Solo, which is Aaron Francis's new terminal, which I like. It's cool. So what you can do is you can add a project. They have 4 free projects, and then you can basically add, I'm going to say, as many shell sessions as you want to that project. So you can have one for every agent. You can have like your different run processes. So it's nice when you can open up a project and it'll automatically go ahead and say like npm run dev and get everything running. And then if you need to restart, it really is one click, which is nice because you can just hit refresh. It'll also highlight if something needs your attention. So that's
Wait,
cool.
hold on. Talk about the restart thing. So the restart
Yeah.
thing, will it actually close the processes and then start them again when you switch to that like workspace?
What do I have? So my apologies for our audio friends. We don't normally do this, but I'm going to share my screen.
Ooh.
So if there we go. So this is oh, good. It did blow it up. So I have right now 3 different projects that I have running, and you can see that this is, I'm not going to say that name because that's a freelance client project. So let's just pull in this one. So one of the projects that I'm working on is called Check. So it's for podcast tools. It's like when you're going to check a mic, you're like, check. So, but what I have in here is I have a Claude agent, and then I have several different commands that I've listed where I can I can just click on the little play icon and it'll spin up my Drizzle Studio. For NPM dev, I can hit play. So if I do this, it should spin up the project. And you can see now it's running the process. And if I hover over this, there's a stop icon. So I can stop it, or I can just click on this refresh and it'll actually stop it and restart that process all at once. So when you add a project.
And then the thing that opens it is right there, the little like, whatever thing to the left. Will like open the.
Oh, that URL opens the port. Yeah, the in the browser. So
some of those will have this, right? Like VTest wouldn't have the open link type thing because it's just a terminal process. Okay.
That's right. So this is really nice because a lot of times you have all these little shell sessions open and you're trying to manage all of them and find the right one. So it is nice that this is all listed in a single list. You can also have multiple agents. And then I saw a tweet, or I guess it's what you still call them, on X or Twitter, where Aaron was talking about how he set up an MCP server with Solo. So what that means, the advantage to that is then you can have one agent spawn up multiple agents and talk to each other within these different shell instances. So I could have Claude spin up a bunch of Codex, OpenAI sessions when it's trying to do things. So you can have Claude orchestrate it and then Codex execute on everything, and it knows what's happening. And he was just saying it's like really bizarre to see like Claude go to Codex and be like, "Hey, Codex, I'm Claude." Good to see you.
Does this solve like let's say this check project, you've got 2 branches. Can you work on 2 branches at the same time?
So you'd have to, like, just like you would in a terminal, you'd have to go in and like navigate into each one. So it gets a little complicated, I think, but I think this also shows how I've heard Aaron talk about projects, because he said, basically, I work on one feature per project. I'll work on multiple projects at the same time, but that helps me maintain context.
See, so what I want is like multiple, like my whole life is one project at work, right? This dashboard. And so I need a way to work on 4 features at once in one project. And I feel like that's where the friction is. And I want to build what he has, but for work trees in a given project. And each work tree has its own running open code session, its own running dev server. And by clicking them, you just bring everything up to the forefront.
Right. So he's talked about doing multiple panels. This is what I'm going to show you now. So I started messing with CMux. Because one of our friends, Chris Nowicki, has been on the podcast multiple times, was talking about CMux. And one of the things that's interesting about CMux is that you can have a browser running in one of your tabs. And when the video that I saw where they were talking about the browser, the benefit that the YouTuber was saying was like, hey, I can use this almost like I'd say like maybe it hooks into the Chrome MCP server or something like that. Or like if you're in Cursor, you can have a browser there, but you could click in and kind of say like this element, or you can have Claude control the browser for you, which part of me is like, I just click on it. But the benefit that I found is exactly what you're talking about, because you can have multi-panes here. This is how I set up my CMux project was on one pane, I have Claude running. Then in another pane, I have, say, the dev server running. One I just have as an open terminal where if I want to type any commands,
Yep.
like install packages or whatever, but then I have my browser. And the reason that the browser is helpful there is because I will create a Git work tree. So this one's called expenses. I will create one for just the expenses feature of the project, and the browser is pointed at that particular page. So I'll ask Claude to do things. I can see it happening. I can look at that feature within the browser. And then in a whole nother session, still in CMux, I have one for time tracking and another one for
Yep.
I don't know, another feature. And the nice thing is these will turn blue when it needs my attention. And when I click around, it's already tied to that browser window that I need to check the feature in. So the only thing that I feel like I'm really missing here is I really want to be able to have like more of a file browser where I can see the code that's in that area. But I'm like, this is moving in that direction. And it is the first time in like, I don't know how many years that I actually Googled NeoVim. Like,
I was going to say, that's the missing
like?
piece. If we used Vim or whatever, you can just have that open in another terminal window or
Right
Tmux
there.
session or whatever. Yeah.
But I'm like, this is getting here. And it's so funny that this is more of the direction that it's leaning in, but it is nice having this. And you're talking about Git work trees, which I feel like has been a kind of like a different, it is a different workflow, but I set up a skill, a Claude skill, just to say, hey, go ahead and create a Git work tree with this. This is the name of the tree. This is the name of the branch. And it makes it so easy just to get all of those pieces up and running. So
The
I would
hard
say
part,
CMux.
the hard part for our work tree setup is like, it's not as easy as just make a new work tree. There's SSL certificates you got to move over. There's authentication you need to like log in and stuff. And like, you really want it to be seamless. You kind of need to be able to move that around the work trees, which we have scripts for and stuff. But yeah, we need to find that local dev where you just kind of have everything and you click in that like other project or other work tree and everything just moves over with it.
So Nick Nisi is one that I've been kind of following his work setup. He is a dev at WorkOS, and I feel like he's kind of been at the cutting edge. We became friends through JS Party, which RIP, but he has an open source project right now called Case that is in the WorkOS GitHub project. I haven't dug too much into all of that, but he manages, I think, 20 different open source projects by himself, which is insane, at WorkOS. And a lot of it is leveraging these AI workflows and trying to get work trees up and running. And he has an article on his blog about Git work trees. And one of the flows that he suggests is that you have a main Git work tree where that's like your main, where you're working on your feature set that you're contributing. You have a review branch. So if somebody comes in and says, hey, will you review this really quickly? Instead of having to like stash your code, you can actually just jump over to that work tree, pull down that branch. And then I think he had one for maybe hot fixes or something like that. But that is kind of a different approach where instead of saying, hey, I want to have a Git work tree for every feature, you would have it more for a type of flow of work. So main, I'm doing feature work. Review, I'm actually reviewing PRs, and then hot fixes, like I've got to just do something snappy.
Man, his idea of like how this process should go is so similar to the mental model that I have with the conductor that I built. It feels almost exactly the same. And like the things that he has that I don't are what I'm implementing this AI hack month is like that learn phase where it's like when you get done, you figure out what needs to be changed for next time.
Yeah. He is doing a podcast right now. I think they're just releasing it maybe on Twitter. At least that's how I found it. It's called AI Anxiety, but it's spelled like AI, whatever. But we need to have a show. So he's just a great human being and super smart. So
okay, I want to talk about another like problem I want to address during this AI hack week that I have a solution for already, but like it's not complete and I want to know your take. So think about this in like a enterprise teams type of space. Everybody's building skills and agents and sub-agents, and we want to share them. And right now, really the only way to do this is you're either copy and pasting a bunch of it around or symlinking them from different sources into your open code directories, or trying to use like Vercel's skills.sh to like look at public skills and agents. So the more and more I think about it, skills and agents and all this stuff, some are very project specific, but some are like more overarching and cross-cutting. So like, how do we build the NPM for these things? Is it just NPM, right? Like they could just all be packages and you install them and they can have a package JSON and they can have dependencies and like you could do all that.
Yeah.
Just the biggest problem with this right now is that we did go the NPM model. All of those source files can't live in node modules. They have to live inside of the Claude code directory or the open code directory, right? They need to be symlinked in. But there's no way to clean that up on uninstall. So like NPM doesn't have an uninstall lifecycle hook. So, what is the solution here? So I'm building like my own CLI that manages all this stuff, which is basically just ripping off NPM. It's using lock files. It's supporting
cool.
like install, uninstall, update, all those things.
Yeah.
But it still feels like you're just reinventing the wheel to get some files into a place in your project.
Yeah. Now the tricky part on top of this, which that you've already thought of, is that people keep saying when you have an issue, if AI doesn't work the way that you want it to, that really it's like I think Nick referred to it as like a harness issue. It's not
Like
necessarily
self-healing.
AI, right? So you go and you say, "Hey, fix the skill. I'd want you to do this." So how do you manage all of that? Because a lot of those patches, some of it is going to be more global based, but some of it's going to be project specific. So how do you account for that in trying to manage these files?
Yeah, because if these are like externally managed packages, or just if they live in a different repo and they're getting linked in, you don't really wanna like, or you're limiting the AI's ability to improve itself over time, I
Right.
should say.
Yeah.
And there's like two ways to think about this. One is like, don't share any of this. It should all just kind of be built up in that repository. But that seems like silly. Like people are just
Because
duplicating
then you
work.
got to do it every time too, every
Right.
project.
Every project, yeah.
Yeah.
So that I haven't figured out. I have heard that based on like the Claude Code leaks, that Claude Code was doing this thing where they would take like a base skill and like append stuff after it that are more like custom commands. Because right now, like skills can't really like take input. Like for instance, my conductor uses a branch skill to like create a branch, but it has our branch scheme in there. How would somebody else be able to take this and use that workflow and have their branch scheme and their pull request template? Because it could all be different for other people.
I feel like you could have AI ask you questions. Like if you don't have this information or if you can't figure it out, or look in this place for a template. If that doesn't exist, then prompt for one or ask for one or see if they want to pull this down.
Yeah. Yeah, you can. Yeah. And I just wonder though, as I start writing all those edge cases, which I kind of have in some of our workflow stuff, I'm like, this feels like code. Is it better or worse that this is non-deterministic? And in some ways, I'm like, it's worse because we're burning tokens to like do a pretty rigid process and make decisions. But in other ways, I'm like, this is better because it leaves room for the AI to like help think for you, right?
Yeah.
It can look at your repo and be like, oh, here's your pull request template. Don't worry about the rest of it. Like I found it.
You know what you almost need? And I don't know, I'm assuming open code has something like this, but Claude Code has a skill built in called /init, where when you start a new project, you call /init. It seems like that's where you would want a lot of that stuff to live versus like in a standard skill that's going to get called or checked every single time.
Yeah, they're building it. I saw a tweet from somebody on the team that it's coming. But init doesn't necessarily know everything. it might know about your project structure, but like they might not write down like kind of ticket life cycle, stuff where like this is our branch conventions, this is our ticket conventions, and all that is kind of built into like how you commit, how you make PRs, how you release.
But like you could
Maybe they
have,
could suss some of that out, but
yeah, I was gonna say you could have the knit ask for it, or you could set it up like
Mhm.
if this is a project for this team, this is how we do it.
I see what you mean, like guided,
Yeah.
much more of a guided workflow, not just
Yeah.
like init does like makes the initial agents.md
Right.
file that's kind of like very broad strokes. Sure.
Right.
Like an
This is
onboarding
a
almost.
file for the front end team. This is
Mm,
everything that it includes. It's already going to pull in all these other skills that we already have, or it pulling these templates or conventions that it already knows about. Or if it's a different team, it'll ask you for those things.
right. Now this is all good, but how do we get a pre-canned, let's say, conductor workflow type thing
Yeah.
to take that as input?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
Again, it's not programmatic. So like who knows? Like
Who
is
knows?
having it in context enough to get it there?
Mhm. Well, and then when you start talking about context too, it's like, okay, you have to manage how much of that is being actively loaded.
Right. Right.
There was a tweet that I saw the other night where somebody went through and they checked all of their token usage. I'm not even sure how they broke all of this down, but they realized that they had overspent well over 50% on token usage, but they were like, it was all my fault because all the things that had bloated my tokens, my context were all things that I did that I could have prevented from happening. And so I think some of it's just like we're going to have to get smarter about how some of that stuff works versus like I'm just going to defer to like open code or cloud code to compact when it needs to compact and hope that it compacts the right things.
We're also very spoiled at Cloudflare right now. We have no spending limits and are pretty much actively being encouraged to experiment as much as we possibly can.
Yep. Yep. But and it's also interesting just to see how they're leaning into different models. And I think some of that depends on what team you're on as to which models they push you towards. So I think we have a partnership with Kimmy. And so they've like really leaned into Kimmy. But I know a lot of the development engineer teams are still using Anthropic and Claude and all that stuff under the hood.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you used Kimmy at all? Do you have any opinions? I have not.
I am working on a project right now where I'm trying to leverage I'm working on a project right now where I'm trying to leverage Kimmy just because I know that it's well received and we have a good partnership with them. I think what kind of boosted my overall opinion of Kimmy is the fact that it is under Composer, which is Cursor's model. And it was performing, at least the chart that I saw, who knows? I know those benchmarks are usually weighted, but it was performing better than Opus or Sonnet. So,
yeah. I'm still Opus 4.6. I've done a little bit of the what is it, Codex 5 or
5.3
GPT 5.4 that came out. It's all right. I mean, I don't know. At this point I feel like I'm splitting hairs. It's all good enough.
Yeah, I did switch over this morning to the Codex model just because of some of the stuff that I'd seen with Anthropics, which I'm just like, I just need them to release another package. I think that they will fix it pretty fast. We just need that next minor release version and it won't be an issue anymore.
Yeah.
Let's see. We're getting close on time.
We are. I think we covered a lot today. It had been a while.
Yeah, it had a lot going on. A lot of exciting news.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, we will, first of all, let me just pause and say hi, James. You need to come on.
What's up, man?
So we will migrate into the next segment of the show, which is our picks and plugs, where we pick something that we like and plug something generally that we've worked on. So, Brad, do you have any picks and plugs?
Ooh, I do. I always pick video games because I try not to just like stay all on the tech stuff. But I've been playing Pokemon Pokopia, which I don't know what happened to me. I never thought I would be the person to say this. It's like one of those weird life sim games or something, but it doesn't feel like that. It just feels like It's a game where I'm back to my childhood, like hanging out with the Pokemon that I used to know when I played like Red and Blue back in the day.
Mm.
You like build homes for them. They like show up, you find them, and it's kind of like Minecraft mixed with like Animal Crossing, I guess is the
Okay.
best way to put it. It's been super fun.
Awesome. James is also laughing at you.
Yeah. I'll take it. I'll take it.
That's amazing. Plug.
Plug. I have, I guess, two quick apps I want to plug. I've been putting a lot of work into my Yodo application where I basically like rebuilt the Yodo UI to make it easier to like pull songs from YouTube and stick it on there. It's been awesome. I have users now. They're like sending me feedback. I'm like addressing it. It's really cool. Every time I come into like a rough edge, I'm fixing it. So all built with AI and all hosted on Cloudflare.
Awesome. Are your kids using it?
No. we don't let them just like run around YouTube just yet.
We don't either. We don't either. Our rule is they have to be sitting next to us. If they're watching YouTube, you have to be sitting next to us so we can see what you're watching. So.
And I guess maybe the last thing I'll plug is the LCD project I made, which is not hooked up on my desk, but this website is also live. So like if anybody sends a message here, you'll see like a live stream of messages that are being sent. But if I had my Pi plugged in, you could see the messages go across the LCD screen on my desk.
It's so cool.
What about you?
What about me? So I'm gonna plug. This is so dumb. But I'm going to plug these little Velcro tabs where you can write the name of like whatever device it is and put it on your cord.
That's cool.
I know these are dumb, but we were talking at the top of the show that I just got a new monitor. And so I was like, I'm going to label everything so that I know what it is. And it is so refreshing when you look at the back and you can see the labels and you're like, I know exactly everything. And I know at the other end what it's going to. I don't have to do any of this weird snake trying to find it. So I highly recommend just going ahead and buying these. And they're super cheap. I got like 30 or 40 for less than $5 on Amazon. So anyways, highly recommend the Velcro labels. And there's several different brands that they all work the same. So pick whichever one you want to use. So, and then I will plug, I think just GitHub, my GitHub, GitHub in general, my GitHub. I've posted a few projects recently that I'm vibe coding. I'm working on one right now. I may open source it, but basically it's that time of year where I'm trying to work through taxes, which I absolutely hate. And I also hate QuickBooks. And so I'm like, why am I paying them a bunch of money every year for just a setup that I hate? So I've been trying to rebuild my own version of that that's more dumbed down, that just gives me the information that I need. And I would even love to be able to get to the point where like I can use Claude Cowork and just say, hey, go ahead and add all these receipts into my system, because I'm not giving it access to my QuickBooks, but I could limit the endpoints that it gets on my own application. So I'm not going to be able to leverage it this year, but looking forward to next year and being able to use that instead of paying for QuickBooks.
Have you finished taxes yet? Or are you like in the thick of it right now?
No, I'm in the middle of it. So the way that I do it, this is really embarrassing, but I do all the bookkeeping for my LLC, and then I hand that off to Henry, and he files all the taxes. And there have been several years where I get down to the wire, and I put him in a bad position because I'm like, I just finished my bookkeeping. He's like, great, now I've got to start on my part. So
yeah. We ended up with like 6,700 back this year, but
what?
I'm telling you, it was so high because I think Stripe was doing something weird with my last set of paychecks. It was like they felt off from the beginning. I don't know. So hopefully I'm keeping a whole lot more of my paycheck this year with Cloudflare and what they're withholding.
That's amazing. No, ours is I have no idea what's going to happen because I was unemployed for a month or so. And then I did freelance for part of that time. So I'm kind of like, we'll see.
So many different income sources, just like it's hard to manage.
Well, when I was in the thick of running my own company, I think at most one year I had 20 or 30 different income sources. And so that's when it would really take a long time to do all the bookkeeping. So it's a lot more streamlined now. But anyways, that did have 1 month where it's going to be a little weird.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out. Thanks, James, for being in the chat. We're going to coerce you to turn on your camera and pull out your microphone at some point. But thanks everybody. If you are listening in your podcatcher of choice after the fact, please leave a rating and a review. It helps other people find the show. And for now, that's all we've got. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream.